average is 150 in the market, we're hitting 200. There's a reason for that. And it is because we are so diligent and dedicated to the brand and to what we are building and what we are cultivating. In today's episode of Branded and Booked, I am hoping to give you guys a massive mindset shift as we get ready to head into peak season for so many of us. Yay! I don't know how you guys are feeling, but I am so ready. I'm like, bring it on. This is our first peak season with the cabins being complete. So we finished construction in October 2025, and I am so ready for everyone to come experience all that Cabins on the Cumberland has to offer now that we are completely done. I can already see like kids in the game room playing until all hours of the night, having the best time. I can see families gathering, eating hot dogs and burgers together underneath of our event pavilion. I can see friendly competition happening out on the pickleball court, like sibling rivalry to the max. I can already see all of this. It's so, oh gosh, I'm so stoked for all of what's about to unfold this peak season. But I want to give you guys a mindset shift today for especially those of you that are building portfolios of properties and or boutique hotels and micro resorts, because this is the shift that I don't even think I can call it a shift, because I came into Cabins on the Cumberland knowing that this is what I was going to be doing and what I was going to build, and that relying on the OTAs was just not an option. And I want to walk you guys through that today, because what I feel like is happening is some of you are really focused on some of you are listening to this podcast and have been through my free workshop that happened last week. You're going, I am building an asset. And I know that. And I know that focusing on the branding and the marketing is going to be inherently more valuable for me and worth my time. But some of you are still in the mindset of relying on the OTAs, and you've just like built another job for yourself, essentially. You're obsessively refreshing Airbnb, checking the calendar, feeling dependent on the algorithm or whatever the heck Airbnb throws our way next. And you're trying to outprice everybody else and compete on all of the things, and you're paying attention to who's coming up in the market, and you're so focused on your, don't get me wrong, like it's okay to be focused on these things and be focused on your reviews and all of that. And I'm not saying I'm not, but what I am saying is that I don't give weight as much as I once did to all of that, because I'm like, it's going to be okay. We're building our own brand, and that means I get to rely less on these platforms, and I get to have more control over how we price and the brand that I'm building because of the experience that we have cultivated. And that is where building our own audience and building those direct booking systems and thinking about the long-term play and long-term effects of that is the shift that I want to help you guys make today. And it is this shift of going, it's almost a shift of relying solely on the OTAs to let me build my brand and really scale this business to what I know that it can be, because you are building a hospitality business, not a hospitality job slash hobby, though it is, I mean, it is a career. I get it. But it's like, we've got to have that shift from just playing the games of a platform we don't control to let me take ownership of this and make sure that I'm being so diligent in it. And I feel like that's what we see, right? There's kind of there's a few different types of owners, but one that I see a lot in the space is constant price tweaking, which is important and relevant, but less so when you've built a brand that people know, like, and trust. You're constantly seeing what's happening in the market, and you're obsessing over those reviews. You live your whole life inside of the OTAs. And it's like, there's a whole nother world out here. And it is called the land of direct bookings and building your own brand, right? You know your avatar, you're building your email list, there's story behind it. You're really invested in your positioning and what that looks like in your unique market. You're playing the long game. And I want to be clear, like, guys, neither is wrong. And I don't want to, I'm like, I got to be mindful about how I share all of this today, because I don't want to shame you by any means. But I do want to just open your eyes to going, what's possible? And I think when we start talking about branding, we start talking about marketing, I often am met with the question of, well, what's my ROI? If we invest in branding or we invest in the marketing side of things, what am I going to see in terms of an ROI? When I talk about this, I say that the ROI on branding is infinite. It is infinite, because if you really take a look at what some of these massive brands have done, when they did the underwriting on their deals, my guess is that they were wildly conservative. Then they built amazing brands. excuse me, sorry, they built amazing brands. They put their marketing strategies in place. They saw their occupancy increase and they saw their ADR increase. And they were like, well, this isn't what we predicted. And this is actually significantly better than what we predicted. And that was intentional. It was intentional to the point of going, we know that investing in branding and marketing is going to help us grow and get where we want to be. And we can't be at the mercy of the OTAs forever. So we have to make a conscious decision and choice to do something different. And what I would ask you guys is, let's say that you decide to go all in. Right now, the doors are open for STR Marketing Bootcamp. This is the only time I plan to open doors this year. I may do it later in the fall, but right now, because we're planning our trip and we're going to be on the road, I just don't know that hosting a whole coaching workshop is going to be in alignment with what our life looks like in the latter half of the year. So this is the last time doors are open for STR Marketing Bootcamp. This is a 12-week coaching program that I have created to help support you in building the direct booking ecosystem you need to have more control over the brand and business that you are building, right? So being intentional in this and making sure that you're thinking through, okay, let's say I do this. What happens? What does it look like if I increase my ADR, only my ADR by 10%? Maybe 15%. Maybe you look at 20%. Now, run those numbers. Then go, all right, what does it look like? And if you have multiple properties, do this across the board. If you have a micro resort, do it across the board. If you have a boutique hotel, do it across the board. Like, what does it look like? Then go, okay, what does it look like if we also increase our occupancy by 5%, 10%? Those numbers that I just gave you are wildly realistic and absolutely attainable. I can't remember if I've talked about this on the podcast or not, but when I took a look at, I want to share two stats with you for the cabins. Stat number one, our very first cabin launched in June of 2024. We were under construction until October of 2025. That cabin operated for basically a year and a half while the rest of the development was under construction. And it is our most booked cabin, highest rates because it's right on the river. People love it. Also, it was first. And so we've had the longest opportunity to market that particular cabin. And oh my goodness, when I looked at our numbers for 2025, that cabin did 49% direct bookings. 49% of that cabin's bookings for 2025 were direct. That is massive. That was a huge win. That right there has me going. And here's the argument that I hear. Well, those people might have booked on the OTAs. Okay, sure, they might have, but guess what? Now I own the guest experience, right? Like now I own that. Now I own their email. Now I own that guest. And now they're going to come back to us because I'm continuing to market to them. So I'm being strategic in that way about this. And also, the ADR in that market is right around 150-ish. Could go between, 140 to 160 is kind of the average for the size cabins that we have in that particular market. So just say 150. Our cabins are consistently hitting about $200 a night. And that's the time of this recording, which by the way is February 27th when I'm recording this. Batch recording, you guys, batch recording. So we're not even into our next peak season yet. And we haven't even been through a peak season with everything in place, the whole development done and all of the cabins. So that was based on like some of the cabins being live for half of 2025, some of them being live for the full year, but still being under construction. That ADR is only going to continue to increase. That is because of how focused we are. So what I just told you is average is 150 in the market. We're hitting 200. There's a reason for that. And it is because we are so diligent and dedicated to the brand and to what we are building and what we are cultivating. All right. I really want you guys to hear that because it's so, so important. The biggest risk for you right now, in my opinion, is it's not slow season. It's not all of the competition and saturation in the market. It's not, oh my gosh, they're building that new thing down the road. It's not, they just added the sauna. It's not any of that. The biggest risk, in my opinion, that many of you are taking is building something you don't own. And you're like, but I own the asset. Yeah, but you're using it as a short-term rental, or you have a hotel and you're using it as a hotel, right? Like you're trying to sell the rooms. OTAs are borrowed land. You are borrowing space and you are hoping that they're going to put you in front of the right people and hope that the algorithm likes you that day. I don't like to hope. I like to be in control a little bit more than that, right? Your brand is an owned asset. Your marketing that you're building is an owned asset. I would say Instagram or your social media platforms, it's a little similar to the OTAs, which is why I'm always like, build your email list, make sure that you own that. But you have to shift from let me just let Airbnb do the work to no, I'm really building this business and I don't want to give Airbnb 15.5% now. There's been conversation. I've heard this kind of come up. Airbnb is charging on its like services and experiences section 20%. I've heard that be talked about for stays. And I don't think it's far-fetched, you guys. I think that at some point we very well could see that. Do you want to give 20% of your revenue to Airbnb forever? Or would you rather build your own brand and save some of that, honestly? Like literally, if you dedicated even just 5% of your total revenue to marketing, or 5 to 10% is probably what I would recommend if you really want to see some good results there. But if you did that, what would that look like for you? Take take a note from the brands who are crushing it in the space. Look at what they're investing in. Look at what they're doing and really pay attention to their funnels and to their strategy. You can do some of this like diagnostic work on your own and really see what's working and what's not, right? But what you're doing right now is you're going, oh, I'll figure this out on my own, or I'll figure it out later, or oh, now we're headed into busy season. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the time. If there were ever a time to make sure you get this dialed in, it is right now. It is right now. And if you are at the beginning of your STR and or boutique hotel journey and you're getting started or you're under contract or whatever it might be, like, wow, you're in the best spot possible to do this, to build the brand foundation from the very beginning. If you're not there and you're 5, 7, 8 properties in and you're like, oh, we got to like really refine here, that's okay too. There is never a better time to figure out your branding and marketing strategy than right now. But you cannot keep delaying and keep pushing it off and thinking it's not important, right? Growth requires an identity shift, you guys. And that's the shift that I'm asking you right now. What's important to you? What are your goals? If you have said for the last 3 years the direct bookings are important and you've yet to make it a priority, maybe this is the time that you're finally going to do that. And that is why I've created STR Marketing Bootcamp. And even if you are a boutique hotel owner, the last round of STR Marketing Bootcamp, I think we had 3 or 4 boutique hotel owners in that round, which was really awesome. And so again, you guys are going to see the value in this because I'm going to walk you through the entirety of the brand strategy process. We're going to develop that out for your property. Then we're going to walk through the marketing strategies that are working now. So you have a direct booking funnel. You're going to be guided on that. I will provide you the resources, templates, assets, etc. that you need in order to be successful in that. And it is such a wildly supportive and awesome community of STR owners, boutique hotel owners, and people who are really dedicated to building something that doesn't rely on someone else's platform. Okay? It's so cool. It's so cool. But I will tell you that at the time of this episode airing today, the doors are closing today. So I would love to make sure that you guys save your seat. If you're listening to this later, you can always reach out to me for one-on-one work. But please be sure that if it's something that you're thinking about or interested in, doors are getting ready to close. I will drop that in the show notes for you so that you guys can check it out. I would love to have you on the inside. Like I said, this is the last time I'm probably opening doors for this year, just so our family can go enjoy time on the road, which I'm really looking forward to. So, and the reason that we're able to make that decision is because of the businesses that we've built. And that's what I know that you all are here for that, like lifestyle freedom and flexibility. And the way that you get there is not by relying on another platform to do all of the work for you. And I think you guys know that. Like, I really think that you do. And I'm very excited to have this round of boot camp and all of you rock stars inside there. So cheers, you guys. I will see you on the next episode of Branded and Booked.